Welcome back to the Switch Sports Golf Challenge Series. It's another day, and therefore another chance to make 10 eagles through the standard 18 holes of Nintendo Switch Sports Golf. It's day 12 now of this 10 eagles iteration of the challenge series. 10 eagles is a lot of eagles. It's proving to be pretty difficult, but let's make it happen. One of these days, and why not today? We'll start here on hole 1 with some 6-mile-an-hour winds pushing to the left, also in the face a little bit. We have that right front pin. This is not the easiest set of conditions, but it's doable. Hole 1 is always one of the more doable ones. Let's aim this one out to about there. That feels pretty solid. We'll try to land it right around there in terms of power. I think that's also pretty solid. Let's see if we can get this one to fall nicely for us.
Nice shot.
Is that going to be it? Ooh, that's a little too far. So that was a downhill shot. And even though I felt like I aimed pretty solidly onto the fairway, since it is downhill, it flies a little bit further. That just flew a little further than I thought it would. So just a slight misadjustment there for the downhill aspect of that one. We've got another cat who wants some attention here. Do you want to say hi, Lizzie? You grabbed the microphone the first time. Oh, good. You're getting better at not just snatching everything that's right in your face. So, she's not the biggest fan of being picked up, but she's okay with it. We'll move on to hole 2 here. Lizzie is cheering me on right next to me. Okay, we've got that back left pin with no wind. This is just a tougher one because I don't really have the landmark of that dot to use for the power adjustment. So we'll call about there good. Just somewhere slightly short of that second dot is the proper power. I just don't know exactly where it is. We'll have to try it out though. 2 squares left is the proper adjustment on that green grid. Typically, somewhere within the second dot will put you in the hole in competitive play, but I just don't know where it is when the tees are slightly further up. We'll try that out, see if we can get lucky here. Okay, so if that falls, that's going to be because I got lucky with the adjustment. That actually looks pretty good. It's going to take a nice roll to the right. Is it going to sink? It'll just barely miss. So like I said, I ended up hitting it just very slightly short. It needed just another pixel or 2 of power, but it's so hard to tell exactly which pixel it needs to be when you can't really use that dot on the power meter to give yourself a gauge. So we'll have to tap in another birdie. We'll move on to hole 3. No eagles on the scorecard, but plenty of holes to play. Would have been nice to pick up 1 or 2 through the first 2 holes, but you can't always do that. Even though we saw 0-mile-an-hour winds, it wasn't the easiest on that second hole. There's no super precise, or there's no like guaranteed way to make that one, unless of course you know exactly which pixel you need. But it's just tough to remember that. Okay, we'll move on to hole 3 and see if we can take advantage of these light wind conditions and make a pretty straightforward eagle here. So we'll just hit... Ooh, I accidentally put a tiny bit of curve, but that shouldn't hurt too much. We'll just hit a standard 2 shots on this one, just out to that bunker? Question mark? Yeah, bunker. Okay, 30 yards is a fine distance here. Even though this looks like it's a terrible lie if this were actual golf, I can still hit this one pretty normally. We should be able to just put a good amount of backspin on this. See if we can get it to sink. Okay, let's adjust that properly. Hit that with some backspin. That should be pretty good. That should land in the proper spot, roll back nicely, and we'll sink our first eagle on hole number 3. After a couple of near misses, we'll make one. Let's move on to hole 4 and see if we can pick up a couple more eagles on this front 9. We'll have to start thinking real hard about all of our adjustments here because we absolutely need to pick up a couple more. We see some 6-mile-an-hour winds pushing to the left. So what do we want to do here? We'll start, we want to kind of land this right in line with the pin. So that's going to be our starting point. For every mile an hour of adjustment here, or for every level of wind, I should say. So this is level 3 wind at 6 miles an hour. It's 3 meters per second. That's what the game actually uses, and it just translates it to the imperial system for me, because I'm in the US. Let's see. I think level 3 wind should put us to about there or so. Somewhere around there. Right around there is the exact power, or the exact adjustment that I need. I'm not exactly sure which one it is, but we'll try that out. We'll hit it with a slight amount more power because we have to get this there through a tiny bit of headwind. So we'll try that much power. See if we can get lucky here. Okay, that felt pretty perfect. That's actually going to land right in line with the pin. Kick to the right. Oh, that's actually going to be on the left side. So perhaps when the wind is pushing a little to the left, the angle that it flies in on is a little too leftward. And even though I landed that exactly where I want it to, it just doesn't quite take that kick enough to the right. So maybe I just need to land that a tiny bit more right when the wind is going that way. We'll have to memory bank that one. There's a lot to memory bank in this game. It's tough to remember all of it, like I said, but we'll have to try to, do our best. Oh, we see some tough conditions here. 22 miles an hour is maximum wind right in the face, which makes this fifth hole so long. Okay, we'll have to deal with it, though. We've got to deal with the conditions the game gives us. Let's just try to hit a good 2 shots out there and leave ourselves in a decent spot to try to chip the third one up and in. Do we want to try something different here? So if I leave this one south of the hole, like right about there, intentionally in the rough, it may give us a decent chance to just roll one up and in a pretty straightforward way. It's not going to be, I guess, necessarily straightforward, but if we're directly south of the hole, we don't have crosswind to deal with, and the green shouldn't move a whole bunch either. So we can just club up to the 3-iron and maybe just bounce one up there. Let's see. We'll try to fly one to about that distance. Land it pretty hard. This is not a straightforward shot. Not a shot that I've ever really hit. This is just something that I'm trying out here because I don't have a lot of options in terms of trying to hold this one in a standard way. Let's try it out though, see if we can make it work. So just a little bit extra on it. Is that going to launch up there? It is just going to be a little short. I put a tiny bit of extra power on it, which scares me because I'm using the 3-iron from within 100 yards. I feel like that's going to absolutely fly, but it still just doesn't quite get there. I gave it a good run though. Maybe if I put it up a little bit further, it would have had a decent chance. But we'll have to tap in the birdie with some tough conditions on 5. We only have 1 eagle on that typically more straightforward hole 3. And we're going to see no wind here on hole 6. So, I've gone back and forth on this little strategy. I've seen someone in a video hold this one in local play with no wind by doing this little, drive out to that exact spot in the rough. You always end up in the exact spot because the tee doesn't change in this one-player mode. You're not playing from different tee positions. So you always end up exactly there as long as you hit the full drive. Now, somewhere around there is the proper aim. Where exactly it is, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's around there. Somewhere around there is the proper power. It's so precise, though. I've yet to actually hold this one, but I've come close a couple times. This has missed a couple feet left a couple times, a couple feet right a couple times. It's so incredibly precise, but let's try it out. That's too much power. I'm going to reset there. Okay, I think that should be it. If I'm going to have a chance, that looks fairly good. If that moves just a little bit more, and we'll sink it. We finally sink that 0 wind hole 6. Finally, we see it fall. That's our second ever eagle on hole 6, and it comes at an absolutely huge time. We only had 1 on the scorecard. We now have 2. That puts us back on a pretty good pace. That front pin is so difficult to try to hole out on, and we finally make it happen. Now, are we going to see some nice wins here? Actually, not too bad. This could be worse on hole 7. 15 miles an hour actually, I think, still gives us a pretty good chance to use that little spoon play as long as I aim this correctly. So let's try that. Just put a little bit of extra power on that 3-iron, roll it out there to the end of that fairway. Now, this looks a little scary because we have, that tree kind of in front of us, but I think the spoon should put it underneath it no problem, because we're taking a decent amount off of it. So the spoon should go underneath that. Let's try to land this in line with right about there. Right about there. We'll want to aim this, what is that, level 7 wind? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares out to the right. Somewhere around there is the proper aim. Try to hit it with the proper power. I want to say about there is actually pretty good with that dot. The front of that island on the mini-map. We'll try that out, see if we can roll one up there nicely. Maybe steal a very lucky eagle here. Okay, that's going to make it nicely around all the trees. It's on a decent looking line. It's going to hit the fringe though. And it's going to end up well beyond the hole. So when all else fails, when you're not exactly sure what to do, you will always hit the fringe. That is the, what is that? What do you even call that? The idiom of this game, the creed of this game. When you don't exactly know what to do, you will hit the fringe. We'll tap this down there for a very straightforward birdie putt, one that we see all the time because I very, very often hit that fringe and bounce it by the hole. So we gave it a good shot there. I mean, if that landed in a slightly different spot, which, I mean, why would it? You're going to hit the fringe when you don't know exactly what you're doing. We'll move on. All right, let's move on. We have a decent look at hole 8 here. This is actually pretty promising. 4 miles an hour pushing straight ahead. Let's club up to the 3-iron. Make sure we club up. We'll hit this one just under that third dot of power. We need to adjust this extremely, extremely slightly left, but hardly anything at all. Maybe to about there, if anything. Take a tiny amount of power off of it. Let's give it a chance. Okay, that felt perfect. Is that going to take the proper first bounce? That looks pretty solid. Is that going to roll back up nicely? It will, and it will trickle back and just miss. Oh, if we could have had a round where we made hole 6 and hole 8, that would have been, I don't even know, that would have been its own accomplishment. We'll have to tap in for a half-foot birdie on hole 8, though. Oh, man. A close call. Let's see what kind of conditions we have on hole 9. Not good. 31 miles an hour right in the face. You see it sometimes. You don't always see nice conditions, but...
Nice shot.
I'd like to see nice conditions. That would be nice, wouldn't it? If you could just see, like, you know, this wind, but in the other direction. That would be very nice. That's not what we get, though. The game is not going to be nice all the time. We had our chances. We missed one of them on hole 2. Let's club up, whoa, or club down, I should say, to the 3-iron. We'll hit this one through that tree gap. And if we can hold this one through some 31 mile an hour winds, that would be another all-timer accomplishment. We just have to aim this a good amount out to the right. And somewhere out there is the proper adjustment. We will club up to the 5-iron. Aim it to around there, I'd say. Hit it with a bit of extra power. Right about to there. See if we can get super lucky.
Nice.
Okay. That's the shot. Oh, that's going to move so far left. That moved so much further left than I thought it might. Wow. Typically, I over-adjust that one.
Nice.
I sent that out all the way to the right side of the green, and it still ends up almost missing on the left side. So, maybe that had a little more distance on it than I, you know, thought. Not exactly sure, though, so I'll have a little tough birdie putt here. Not the easiest, but it's actually pretty straight if I look at it. It just kind of, you know, curves in different directions throughout. We just have to hit it with enough power to get it up there. That should do it. We'll sink a nice birdie through some 31 mile an hour winds. You know, actually, now that I think about it, I typically am dealing with like a 7-iron or a lighter 5-iron. That was almost a full 5-iron, so the fact that that moved that much wasn't all that surprising. Oh man, now we see some tough winds here on hole 10. A much needed hole 10. We only have 2 eagles on the front. One of them is on hole 6, which is unusual. A non-standard round we have going here. Let's see if we can sink a lucky one here with 11 mile an hour winds pushing to the right. Let's aim it to about there. Somewhere around there, as I've said a couple times throughout this round, is the proper power. Let's try that out, see if we can get a lucky one to sink. Is that going to be the one that actually looks really good? Oh, sink with 11 miles an hour, why don't you? Maximum wind, no issue. We'll sink the eagle on hole 10. Alright. We need 8 eagles on the back 9. There's one of them. Let's see if we can keep this thing rolling. Are we just going to keep seeing crazy winds throughout this round? 4 miles an hour, not too bad. Could be worse. Let's use the 5-iron. We want to land this right around there-ish. So let's hit it with about that adjustment. We'll put it to the front of the green, try to bounce it back nicely. Roll it back nicely, I should say. Right around that power level. Let's see if we can make this one work. Okay, that felt pretty perfect. Oh, take the nice landing. That looks perfect. Roll back nicely. Bite and roll hard. We'll sink another. Through some 4-mile-an-hour winds on hole 11, we keep this round alive. A hole-in-one. That is eagle number 5. Let's see if we could take advantage of a couple more. Hole 12 is always a more straightforward one. Just have to get through it. Are we going to see some tougher looking winds? Not necessarily. Oof, 11 miles an hour. Just challenges. A lot of challenges on this challenge series, day number 12. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit off that drive because it should roll out pretty strongly. If I didn't take anything off that drive, we probably would have been fine, but this feels a little bit safer. We're going to have to hit more of a non-standard shot here, which scares me. I think we'll actually have to club up to the 3-iron, which I never want to do here, but that may just be what we have to do. Let's aim this a good amount out to the right, fly it up there, take some power off of it with some spin. Oh, that's short. Oh, be okay though. Please be okay. Hit the fringe and bounce hard. Oh, it's not going to. It's going to make it up to the hole, but it's going to zip back, and we're going to have a tougher little putt here. Okay, so we have to remember that we're at the part of the green where it kind of phantom breaks to the left. So if I go to the terrain map, it shows nothing. However, you saw that curl back to the left when it was rolling back. That's something that this green does. For some reason, it doesn't show up on the terrain map, but this very slightly breaks left at the start. We have to keep that in mind. It's not going to break a ton to the right, so I actually may just want to aim straight at this one. Make sure we hit it with enough power to get it there today, not leave it short like yesterday. Just over, like maybe 2.5 dots of power should be good. That should do it. That should get up there and fall inside the right edge. We'll sink the 33-footer after mispowering that 3-iron. We'll save the eagle, a much-needed one on hole 12. We have 5 eagles. We're on an okay pace. If we can steal a hole-in-one here on 13, it's not going to be easy. We have 13-mile-an-hour winds. Can we make it happen? We just have to aim this to about there. Somewhere around there is the proper adjustment. How have I aimed this in the past, and how has it ended up? I feel like this is pretty good. I have to put a little more power on it because the wind is slightly in the face here. Let's try that out. See if we can get lucky. Okay, that felt absolutely perfect. That's going to take... Oh, it's going to move a little too far down to the right, I think. So, some tough crosswind. We miss it by, 2 feet on the right side. A good run at it, but with 13 miles an hour, that just may not have been the day to make that ace. So now, we need to make aces or eagles on the rest of the holes. We'll have a chance here, always a good chance on 14. There are very few conditions where this is a super difficult one. The round is still alive. If we can make this eagle, steal one on 15 and 16, we just have to see some good conditions on 17. Okay, what do we want to do here? I think the play here is to aim this scarily out over the water, but that shouldn't be an issue. This should move nicely back onto land and clear all those trees. Okay. That should be about good. Oh, is that going to clip some leaves? It looks like it might, but that's not too much of an issue. That's just going to bounce down out to the fairway. With 22 miles an hour, as long as you're only hitting one little tree, it comes in with enough speed that it's not too much of a problem. Let's club up to the 7-iron here. aim this a decent amount out to the right, but not a ton. It doesn't have a ton of time in the air to move. So let's hit this with about that much power. A little less than 3.5 dots, I'd say, actually. And try to just glide this one up there. Okay, that felt about perfect. That's going to kick and glide. That's going to be a fine leave, actually. So it's a little side hill, a little bit scary. But we just have to hit that little micro putt avoidance technique. Aim it out to the left a good amount. And just give it a tap with that, you know, 1/3 to 1/2 of a dot of power. There it is. We'll sink it for a nice eagle on hole 14. Alright. The round is alive. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eagles. We need aces and eagles on the rest of them. Let's see if we can pull it off on hole 15. Oftentimes, not the easiest one. 17 miles an hour in the face. The winds have been testing us today. Let's see if we can respond.
Nice shot.
We'll put one out there to the right part of that fairway to make this one a very upwind, purely upwind shot. What do we need to do here? I'm not super confident that this is going to roll back nicely, even though we see wind in the face. So let's aim this just slightly out to the left. The wind's going to push this a little to the right, just a very little amount to the right. We'll hit it with a little over pin high power and just try to glide this one. Maybe try to get lucky on like it falling on the way too. But I don't have a lot of confidence it's going to come back strongly. Let's see though. Okay, that's the exact shot that I wanted. Oh, take a kick to the right and sink. Oh, it lips out. Oh, if that was another inch to the left, that could have hit the pin and maybe fallen. If that was another, I don't even know, there's so many possible ways that that could have gone in, but it just doesn't. It just rattles around a little bit and does not fall. It ends up about 7 feet by the hole. I gave that one a super good chance. That was not the easiest of shots. It just doesn't sink. We have a good round going, but it's not going to be 10 eagles. An unfortunate way for that one to end. We're going to see some actually favorable conditions here, kind of, on this hole 16. Just have to aim this out to the left a little extra. We can use the driver. Just send this one out to the bunker, actually. Should be the play. Just put that one straight through all those trees. Oh, don't clip that one. What? Is that even possible with 15-mile-an-hour winds? Don't tell me that this is not a possible shot with this wind. I mean, that is so punishing, because this is easily doable in competitive play. Is it not going to work here? Should I use the spoon? Again. Just put it up a little bit higher.
Nice shot.
Yeah, it's going to carry that one, no problem. Is it going to make it all the way through? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. 15 miles an hour pushing to the right doesn't do it in this one-player mode? I mean, I needed to try to make the eagle, but I've now put 2 OB and ruined this good round, so... Oh man, this hole 16 is just brutal in one-player mode. That is so punishing for no good reason. That's wind that feels like it should be helping. I don't know, this game sometimes. Okay. Let's try to put this one up and over that tree. Oh man. This was a good round. Now we'll have to try to sink a lucky one here.
Nice shot.
Yeah, that's not quite gonna cut it. Is that gonna bite? Oh, it will. It'll come all the way back. So we'll have a makeable putt here for our, what is this, like triple, quadruple bogey? This is a extremely, extremely nerve-wracking putt. Can he sink it? For the triple. It falls! Triple bogey on hole 16. The crowd goes absolutely nuts. Let's move on to 17. we're at 18 under, so this is actually still a pretty good round. It's just the hole 16 adventures sometimes. Okay. We always see this right to left wind for some reason on hole 17. Let's just put it up there though. Give it a chance. If we glide it, we glide it. I'm actually going to take a bit off of it and see if we can use the glide to land it a little bit shorter. Is that going to work? Yeah, it'll hold the green. I think. It's going to end up about as far away as it possibly could, though. So we have now a 51-footer for birdie. This would be a fun one to sink. A huge putt to push this to 19 under par. Let's aim this one a tiny bit out to the right. Is it going to move a little left, a little bit right at the start, though, actually? Maybe. Let's actually just keep this one pretty straight. We'll have to hit this conveniently a little more than full power, which is a pretty easy power to get. Is that going to do it? It will. We'll sink that 51-footer right in the middle for the birdie on 17. Let's move on to 18. We are now 19 under. With a triple bogey on the scorecard, we can still make it to 20 under. Or better. We're going to have 15-mile-an-hour winds pushing just straight to the right. So we just have to hit this drive out to there. That should move nicely to the right, clip the fairway, and leave us with a pretty standard distance. We just have to adjust this one a good amount out to the left. Because the wind is pretty strong, it's such a long shot. I'll use the 3-iron. We'll hit it about 3.5 dots of power, I think. Let's aim this one roughly to there. This feels about good. It looks like an over adjustment, but it actually should be kind of fine. Let's try it.
Nice shot.
3.5 dots of power. That should push right a good amount. Is that going to take a nice bounce? Oh, that actually looks pretty promising. Okay, that'll roll down to a very nice spot. So not quite the power to get it there for the albatross. If I hit that a little harder, that could have had a nice run by the hole. But we'll have to tap in this little eagle here. Eagle number 6 or 7?
Great eagle. Finish.
Okay, so we're 21 under par. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eagles on the scorecard. I mean, a pretty good day for eagles. We have that ugly +3 in there after hole 16 did not cooperate with me. But 21 under is a pretty good round, especially considering that we have a rare eagle on hole 6. I wanted that to be the day where we could actually do it. We had a pretty good back 9, just not the best conditions on 13 and 15 or 17 to try to make some much needed eagles to push that to 10. But 7's a fine number. It's a good number, I think, for the seed that we had today. We'll try again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. And we'll keep this challenge series rolling. We've had 7, 8, and 9 a couple days, just not 10 yet. We'll get to 10 soon.